Well, here I am at the Sportsman's Lodge Wilderness Resort, a little bit northeast of Sudbury on Kukagami Lake. I'm about to start a 6-night solo overnighter on Donald Lake, and I'll be starting on Kukagami Lake. It's roughly a 8-kilometer paddle and a 1K portage, and then I'll be on Donald Lake. And I'll be paddling maybe 5 kilometers north to a campsite I have my eye on. And in case you're interested, for an old guy like me, there is a cardiac defibrillator here. So in case I need resuscitating, I'm taken care of. Well, there's Kukagami Lake at 6:23 in the morning. I'm just getting my stuff sorted, and I was just checking out my canoe, and look what I found. Here's my canoe. A snapping turtle laying her eggs, I believe. What else could it be? And I'm guessing that's a snapping turtle. If it is, you don't want to get your finger in the way. I guess I'm going to have to move the canoe. I'm not going to bother you if I can help it. Just don't snap at me, please. Well, I've got most of my stuff in there, basically. Not basically, exactly. It's my pack sack with my packraft and my food bag. And all I have is a day pack and a jacket. Let's check on this little toil. I'm guessing they're pretty lethargic when they're laying eggs, I guess. Because it hasn't tried to snap at me. Okay, I'm starting way down at the bottom at Sportsman's Lodge on Klondike Bay in Kukagami Lake. So if you follow the orange, so I have to canoe all the way around this headland, all the way up to the top of Kukagami Lake, into this narrows, into upper Kukagami Lake, all the way around past these islands to the 1,000 meter portage to Donald Lake. I'm going to double carry, so that involves 3 kilometers of walking. So from the bottom of Donald Lake, I'm going to canoe all the way up to the top into this arm, and I'll be spending all my time at a camp here where the star is. All in all, it's 17K of paddling and 3K of portaging, which is a 20K journey. And we're off. put in at Sportsman's Lodge. I spent the night there. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. George, the owner, was scheduled to make me breakfast at 8:30, but it's such a nice day I decided to skip the bacon and eggs. I had a coffee machine in the lodge by my room, so as long as I got coffee, I was happy. Oh, what a beautiful day. It's calm as anything. Yesterday when I got here and I paddled on the lake, it was pretty windy and I was just a little bit worried about that, to tell the truth. It's 19 degrees. We are 289 meters above sea level. Yesterday was Canada Day, so there was a lot of people on the lake. I'm guessing and hoping that there won't be many people today. I figure all the kids have had to go back to school. Just look at how calm that is. Perfect conditions for canoeing. But I'm sure the wind will kick up a bit later. I've never portaged a canoe before. I practiced with this one. This is a fairly heavy canoe too. This is about 45 pounds. It's a two-person canoe. George, the owner, operator of Sportsman's Lodge, doesn't have any one-person canoes. I'm using it as a backup for my packraft. Once I get to Donald Lake, I'm hoping to mostly use the packraft. I mean, I'm still thinking, being an inflatable, if I have a problem and I only had the packraft, how would I get back? Plus it's nice to, I've never, as a kid once, with some youth group, I went to summer camp and I think we had a 2-nighter canoe trip, but I was pretty young then and I don't remember much of it. It's nice, it's just so Canadian canoeing, isn't it? I'm just marveling at the beauty of the morning. This is so typical Ontario. This is the kind of stuff I remember as a boy. And the nice thing about it, at least so far, is I don't hear any motorboats going. I can hear some, well, the birds are chirping. I've heard a couple loons. I think I've heard bullfrogs croaking. A slight breeze is starting. Oh, it's so nice when it's calm like this, all the trees reflecting off the water. I haven't even been going half an hour, it's just so beautiful. Well, I've had to take off my outer shirt. It's not exactly toasty, but it's not cold either. I think it's only 18 degrees, but it's calm as anything, and there's a nice sun up there. Not a cloud in the sky. because look at this, the deepest it gets is maybe 3-4 feet, maybe even less than that. So we are in upper Kukagami. I kept saying Kakagami, Kukagami Lake. So now I basically stick to the shore on the right, go around a headland. Well, I just passed 4 canoes going the other way, 12 people, mostly young'uns, teenagers. They spent 2 days on Donald Lake, and they're just on their way out now. When I asked them, are there many campers there, they said, no, not really, so I'm not quite sure what that means. They're from Toronto, but one of the girls paddling the canoe, I asked, she had an accent. I said, are you Australian or Kiwi? And she said, Australian. So of course I say, good day, mate. Well, I don't know if you can see them, but you can probably hear them. Eight canoes. At least 3 in each canoe, so that's 24 people. They're on their way out. So that's a second big group I've seen on their way out. I think it was a good plan coming today on Tuesday, the day after Canada Day. Man, those guys are noisy. I mean, they're just young people having a good time. Some guy's got a radio going in his boat. This is just before the Portage, so I'm still on Kukagami Lake. This is the last campsite. Well, I think I found the route, Portage. Not 100% certain. I'll have to go on shore and just see if it looks like a path. It's kind of hard to tell from here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is it. Man, my ass is sore. I'm not used to sitting down in a canoe for such a long time. Not sure how this is going to work. Holding the camera and portaging at the same time. 1 kilometer, eh? Wonder how long this will take. I'm guessing 20 minutes. I have no idea what this trail is like, how much up and down. Well, portaging that canoe was pretty tough. That's why I didn't film much of it. A couple of problems. One, it's a 2-person canoe, so it's long. It's 45 pounds. But the biggest problem is it wasn't well balanced. The yoke for me was in the wrong place. It kept wanting to stick its nose in the ground. But I made it in 1 carry. It must be pretty well exactly a kilometer, because walking back with nothing took me 11.5 minutes. Look man, no hands. hot day too. I'm overdressed. Well, not really for the bugs, I ain't. There's no bugs on the water, it's just here on the trail. I had to spray up a little bit. Well, here's Donald Lake. Took me 15.5 minutes with the my pack sack and my food bag. My pack sack and my food bag actually weighs more than the canoe. There's a nice cool breeze here. So I've got, I think maybe 4 kilometers to go to my campsite. So let's see what happens. Well, we're coming up to a campsite, I think. I think this is the one that I want to, so we're going to have a look at it. Oh yeah, it's got a grill. Oh yeah, look at this. Well, it looks like I found home for the next 6 days. Man, I'm so happy this place wasn't occupied. Because this is what I had in mind like 4 months ago in Saudi Arabia. This exact spot. Because of a guy named John from backcountry Anglian, Ontario was here. It's good enough for him, man. It's good enough for me. Oh man, I'm happy. I just need to get my shit unpacked and just figure out where everything's gonna go. Okay, well, I'm relaxing. I've got the tent set up, I've got the hammock set up, I've got the tarp set up. So those are the 3 important things. Now, if worst comes to worst, I can just go to bed or I can just relax. But let's talk about this trip. Out here, I'm looking at my GPS. It was almost 18 kilometers. My moving average was only 3.4 kilometers an hour. So that canoe seems to be slower. Well, it is slower than my packraft, but I don't know how slow I would be with a packraft if I went 18 kilometers, for instance. So that was a moving average, 3.4 k an hour. The overall average was 2.3 k an hour. Moving time, just over 5 hours. Stop time, 2 hours, 31 minutes. Yeah, I mean, it would have been stop time when I portaged the canoe. I left the GPS at the on Donald Lake, and then I walked back to the other lake. Oh, this is gonna be cold. Oh. Ah. Ah. Oh. that's where I came from. I'm pretty well at the top of Donald Lake. Not quite, but I think in that direction there's a portage to a smaller lake. Straight ahead is where I'm camped. Well, I made the executive decision to have a dehydrated meal, sweet and sour pork with rice. Add 2 cups of water, stir carefully, close zipper for 4 minutes. Ooh, that's hot on the hand. Well, I think it's time to celebrate the perfect day. This is the exact camp spot I wanted. It wasn't too bad getting here considering, I mean, a portage is a portage. It never would have been easy for me considering the weight of the canoe, and it's the first one I've ever done. Camp's all set up. I got the spot I wanted. I haven't seen anybody on Donald Lake. I got some Southern Comfort. It's not really my favorite. I've got some Baileys, some Ontario Baileys knockoff, and I've got some sake, so I've got other stuff, but I'll have a wee dram of this while I wait for my dehydrated meal to prepare. Is it going to be too hot to eat? One thing I need to tell you first. My favorite Chinese food. Authentic Chinese food. See, it's so authentic I point the spoon at you. Look there. It's sweet and sour pork with rice. But I'm not in Chinatown. I'm not in Hong Kong. This actually isn't bad. I mean, whoops. Huh. Everything tastes better when you're hungry, right? And everything tastes better when you're out in the bush. This is tasty. It went down well. Definitely filled the spot. The thing I like about this is a perfect meal size-wise for me. As soon as I got here, I set up a charging station. Right now, on my solar charger, I've got one of my Canon batteries and one of my GoPro batteries. Now the solar charger's only got 2 USB ports, so they're full up. And my GoPro remote, actually, I don't know, it seems to draw power. It seems to run out when it's not being used, so I couldn't use it today, but I've got it charging off my normal power bank, which I'll recharge tomorrow. Well, I'm in the hammock. I'm probably here for the night until it's bedtime. I'm just going to do some reading. Got some jelly beans, bulk barn. I don't think I'm going to run out of food this trip. I got, I think 7. Well, I just had one. So now I have 6 dehydrated dinners. I think I got 5 dehydrated breakfasts. Got dehydrated mashed potatoes, rice. I got lots of fish crisp, so I'm hoping to catch fish. And then I've got snacks. I got figs, a lot of figs. I got peanuts. I got beef jerky. I got some gummy bears. I've got some wine gums and a few other things. Well, I went out for an evening fish just across the lake, which is pretty close from here, and I got me a smallmouth bass. Kiss my bass. I've already had dinner, but I figured I'll pan fry this. It's gonna not be too much. Beautiful fish. I caught a lot of small ones, and I had quite a few bigger ones follow, but this is the only big one that I caught. So I'm going to fillet it up and eat it. Quite a few mosquitoes out right now. Usually when you get a few small bones, this is where you get them from, the ribs, if you cut the ribs too close. Difficult place to be doing it from, and I'm getting eaten alive. Okay. one. Not the best of jobs. This is where you really need a flat surface and a filleting knife. I missed a bit of belly meat. Yeah. Well, that'll be enough for a little fry for me. And I'll just get rid of the carcass. Well, the fire looks like it's going pretty good. Figure it's going to be at least half an hour before the embers are good enough. Okay, we're ready to start cooking. Doesn't take the oil very long to get hot. Oh, listen to that sizzle. I'm going to save the plastic bags from the fish crisp. So I won't use the fish crisp again, but I'll use the bag again. Actually, I may be able to use this bag again. Well, here goes a taste test. Oh, that's hot. Well, that piece was really crispy. Mmm. Mmm. Actually, there's quite a bit more meat than I kind of expected from that smallmouth bass. It's good being by myself, and I'm not a real big eater. I don't need a big fish to fill me up. One little bone so far from the rib. So tomorrow morning I'll probably just go right back to the same spot and see if I can get one for breakfast. I've only got so much canola oil, but there's other ways I could cook the fish.